the emotions of what those words mean to you, and what that conjures up in your imagination and stuff. So it kind of, parsing is very mechanical. The semantics of it is where in a computer program a lot of the help is needed. So to give you an example here, this is the class. So this code was generated for us. So there's a XML serializer, and it basically just goes and creates an operation. It's setting the operation up. It sets the URL, the method, etc., and then it pushes the operation, and it gets back this thing, and it treats it as an object. And then what we have to do is, when I did the configure return type, we basically created what are called the value object tree. And the value object tree is where, here's the value objects here. And this is where we took the object that came back, and then we set up, based on the properties of the object, several sub-elements, and then we created a new array object and pushed them after us. Now all of this, this is iterative, because as many times as that XML branch happens, it has to go over and over and over this thing. And the reality is you want to display the words. If you look at the raw XML from this, you have all this stuff here that's in this nice pink color. You don't want any of that on the mobile, right? It's only needed to provide structure to the black bits, and the black bits are actually what we're using. So when you're optimizing for mobile, using XML is a very bad idea, because you're taking all these pink bits and having to manipulate it and do stuff with it. It's better to, if you can only get XML from the source, it's better to have a server in the middle that can, when it gets the request here, pre-cache it like Google does with search, right? When you search in Google, Google doesn't actually go out and search. Every search that comes in goes to this middle tier, and it just references it. It's a set of keys, and it just says, oh, you search for food, and it goes up and says, this is the top 10 results page for food, and passes it back to you. In the background, there's another process that runs a cron job, and every hour pores over the index and combines it with data dynamic algorithms to bring it back and create a new static page that it pushes up. So tricks like this are what you want to employ in mobile. Make it look like you're doing something, but in reality, have it done already before you display it to the user. The user takes the action. Any other questions? Yes.
So does it support XML, like some stuff like maybe XPath or like simple XML stuff?
Oh yeah. So web services are supported too. So let me just go back to the phone here. I'm going to kill this. And any of you know what web services are? Web services? Come on. Okay. This kid knows everything.
There's services that run on the server, process information, and push it to the client.
Basically, you're correct. Most of them are written in described in WSDL. So this is a WSDL document. So I guess I'm going to have to go view source on this. This describes the web service itself. So it describes it in terms of the endpoint, the operation. So I've got an operation called get version on here. There's messages that go in and out. The messages are encoded in XML, and they also are carried using something called SOAP, which is an XML messaging format called Simple Object Access Protocol, which I helped co-write part of the specification for, as well as the architecture for this whole thing of web services. And this is, again, something, if you go into Flash Builder, you can do this. So keep in mind, as a developer, there's not one piece of information on this page here you can not pay attention to. You have to pay attention to everything, because all the fault handling, the types of the information going in, the schemas that constrain it, etc., are all very, very important. To do this in a new project in Flash Builder is actually very, very easy. So let's close some of these off. Let's go File, New, Flex Project, blah, blah, blah. Make this one. Let's wait when it runs in the Flash player for a change. So this will set up our new one. And this one, we can connect to it with the web service wizard. We feed in the URL, and goes out, inspects it, and brings back the value object for us, casts them into type string. You can see the get version results operation does this. You can generate a form for that, and the form will be based on another call to the service. It knows it's a string, and it will do it to a text output. And simply to optimize it so we can see this before we run it, we run this, it'll tell us, it'll call the web service and tell us the last, the version of access that we have on the J2E web server that they started up. In this case, it's 1.4. So if you were to do this for your boss, you typically quote your boss 3 days, so that just leaves you 2 days, 7 hours, and 59 minutes to play video games with goof off. Again, web services, though, you don't want to be parsing on the client and mobile. So going back to the slide deck quickly, there's kind of 3 different methods available for Air for Android. So with Air for Android, you can export the files as .air files. And AIR is the Adobe Integrated Runtime. These are guaranteed to be cross-platform, so they will run on Linux, PC, Mac, as well. They will run on the Android operating system and soon the BlackBerry operating system. You can also build applications that are natively packaged. So what we did is we built one and natively packaged it as an APK and released it. That was the first thing I showed you. The story for this, if you're packaging it as APK, we just showed that. The experience is if you drop them in as AIR, you typically would hyperlink them from a web page. The user would have the browser and go through until they find an Air application, click on it, and it would say install it. And if you have the Air runtime, which I do on my mobile device, it would then install it. Once it installs, it looks like any other application on your applications directory. So if I go to my applications directory here, I've got some applications that are written in Air. So there's a, let's see if I can find one. There's a live cycle desktop networking application.